Two people invest the same amount of money. They both start with hope. They both believe they're making a smart decision. And for a while, they look exactly the same. But over time, one quietly moves forward, while the other slowly loses confidence, patience, and belief. Not because one is smarter, not because one had more money, and not because one chose better opportunities. The real difference is invisible. It's how they think while investing. Because successful investors don't win by avoiding mistakes. They win by avoiding a way of thinking that most people never even notice. Most people believe investing is about making the right move. Successful investors see it differently. They understand that investing isn't a single decision, it's a long sequence of reactions. What matters isn't just what you invest in, but how you respond when things feel uncertain, slow, or uncomfortable. This is where most people quietly sabotage themselves, not through bad choices, but through emotional reactions they don't realize they're having. Imagine someone who invests money. It could be in a business idea, a piece of real estate, long-term savings, a new skill, or something they believe will pay off in the future. At first, everything feels exciting, but then they start checking. They check results constantly. They look for reassurance. They search for signs that they're right. Every pause feels like failure. Every delay feels like danger. Successful investors rarely do this, not because they don't care, but because they understand something most people don't. Constant checking doesn't reduce risk, it increases emotional pressure. And emotional pressure leads to reactive decisions. Most people think risk means losing money. Successful investors think risk means interrupting progress. They know the biggest danger isn't short-term loss, it's abandoning the process too early. That's why they design their investments around staying power, not excitement. They choose commitments they can emotionally tolerate. They move at a pace they can sustain. They plan for boredom, not adrenaline. Because the real risk isn't uncertainty, it's panic. Many people believe confidence should come first. They think once they feel sure, then they'll commit. Successful investors reverse this. They understand confidence is a result, not a requirement. They commit to a reasonable plan first, then allow confidence to grow slowly over time. This is why beginners often hesitate endlessly, while experienced investors move calmly with incomplete information. They don't wait to feel ready. They build readiness by staying consistent. Most people underestimate how long investing actually takes. They expect progress quickly. They expect validation early. They expect visible results. When those things don't appear, doubt creeps in. Successful investors assume progress will be slow. They expect long, quiet periods. They prepare for stretches where nothing seems to happen. This expectation changes everything, because when nothing happens, they don't interpret it as failure. They interpret it as normal. Think about someone investing in themselves, learning a skill, building something from scratch, saving consistently over time. Early on, it feels pointless. No feedback, no applause, no obvious payoff. Most people quit here. Successful investors don't. Not because they're special, but because they mentally separated effort from immediate reward. They understand that delayed results aren't a flaw in the process, they are the process. Here's another difference most people miss. Losing investors ask themselves, how do I feel about this right now? Winning investors ask, does this still fit the plan I committed to? One follows emotion, the other follows structure. This is why successful investors don't need constant motivation. They rely on rules, not moods. Most people don't fail dramatically. They fade out quietly. They reduce commitment. They stop paying attention. They move on emotionally before they move on financially. Successful investors notice this early. They pause and ask themselves a simple question. Am I reacting or am I executing? That question alone prevents countless bad decisions. Most people believe activity equals progress. More action, more decisions, more changes. Successful investors do less but better. They don't constantly adjust. They don't chase new ideas. They don't confuse movement with momentum. They understand that restraint is a competitive advantage. Opportunities will always appear. New ideas, new trends, new promises. Most people jump. Successful investors pause. They ask themselves whether something is truly better or simply newer. That pause protects them from distraction. And distraction is one of the most expensive habits in investing. When you strip everything away, the difference is simple. Losing investors seek certainty. Successful investors accept uncertainty. Losing investors try to avoid discomfort. Successful investors design around it. Losing investors react. Successful investors remain consistent. This has nothing to do with intelligence. It has everything to do with emotional discipline. Once you understand this, investing becomes quieter. Less stress, fewer decisions, more patience. You stop asking whether you're doing the right thing and start asking whether you're thinking about it the right way. That shift alone changes outcomes. If you're investing in anything long-term, money, skills, or yourself, this way of thinking matters more than any strategy. Because the biggest advantage in investing isn't what you choose, it's how you think while you wait.